What can I say about the MacBook Air M1? I've had it for a year now, and I can safely say that it has served me well. But it's not without its drawbacks. I mean, no laptop is perfect, right? So I'm going to be breaking down every aspect of this wonderful laptop. I'm going to start off with the screen. This screen has saved me from having eye strain. It's sharp, the colours are accurate, and it doesn't give me nausea. I find it hard to believe that it only has 60Hz refresh rate. The added option of the nightlight has allowed me to work on it later on in the day, and I can safely say that I was able to work on it for a number of hours without any problems. I can even work in the dark with this. Any other cheaper laptops or desktop computers would end up giving me migraines because of the cheaper LCD panels. Next is the build quality. The aluminium chassis is so sturdy and so strong. There's no flex in it at all. It's such a joy to hold. In fact, I like to hold it sometimes without even using it. Judge me all you want, but it's true. It feels nice and cool. Yes, it's heavy, but I can use this on just about any chair or any sofa on my lap, and it feels stable. The only complaint I have about the design of this laptop is the fact that the bezels could have been a bit better looking, such as other laptops. You look at the Dell XPS for instance, their bezels are just, well, it's going towards bezel-less really. But it doesn't matter as much as this design is classic and premium looking. With regards to it being drop tested, the aluminium chassis will hold, but it's not been tested to withstand extreme shocks or drops, like the Lenovo ThinkPad series. I have to now mention the awesome battery life. I'm glad I waited a few months after the M1's release because it appears a lot of issues have now been sorted out. I get on average around 12 hours of use, mostly with Safari, YouTube video, streaming, a bit of 4K editing using iMovie, and mostly emails and Word documents. The battery obviously depends on the brightness of the screen, whether Bluetooth is on or off, and of course the size of the files compiling. But if I had to give a more accurate estimate with a heavy workload, I would say 10 hours sounds about right. When it comes to gaming, I don't game on my MacBook. That's not what I bought it for. I know it has that functionality, but I didn't buy it for gaming. I did, however, try out Apple Arcade Beyond the Steel Sky, which is fantastic, and did notice the bottom of the MacBook getting quite hot while playing on high settings, and so with this being fanless, thermal throttling would ultimately set in. I also tried Steam's version of Civilization 6, and I could play that on low settings, but eventually it would heat up and it would throttle, especially anyone who's played the game later on. There's a lot of processing power needed. Moving on to the fanless aspect, I can easily put this on my lap without fearing the burning of my legs. It's cool as a cucumber, and it really helps with the portability aspect of this device. Throttling of the CPU will only occur when it heats up. Now if you're worried about this, don't be. The MacBook Air M1 will still complete your tasks. Yes, it will take slightly longer than a laptop that has a fan, but if you're prepared to wait, then do it. Just wait a tiny bit longer and it will still complete it. The Intel versions, and indeed any other laptop with a fan, the fan just goes round and round and it just heats up. And I absolutely hate that. Honestly, fanless is the way to go. One day we will have CPUs that are liquid cooled and maintenance free. Oh, and the liquid cooling won't be huge either, it will be integrated. The typing experience is just simply brilliant. The sound of the keyboard is fantastic. Just listen. The low key travel is really satisfying, although I have to admit, after a while, the lower key travel does strain my hands. Then again, I've got large hands and I've mentioned that quite a bit in my previous videos. The adjustable keyboard brightness is sublime to use in lower light environments, and the click sound is so relaxing of each key. It's wonderful. The trackpad is still one of the best. In fact, at times it is more comfortable than the Magic Mouse. Now I did do a review on the Magic Mouse and revisited it, and I'm just not completely happy with it ergonomically. In fact, the trackpad on the MacBook Air is simply the best I've ever used on any laptop. The haptic feedback is on point, my finger glides along the trackpad, and the zoom features are just simply outstanding. The speakers are the best I've used on any laptop under £1,000, and I love the fact that they still have the headphone jack on it, although I can see it disappearing soon in the future. With wireless earbuds being more and more popular, I believe most people probably won't be bothered. I love the selection of apps on offer. Funnily enough, one of my favourites is actually WhatsApp because of the amount of group conversations I have going. Sure, I can just go on my phone, but why bother being distracted from what I'm working on when I can just do it straight on my MacBook? Likewise, the ability to take calls, videos or otherwise is an amazing bit of compatibility with the Apple ecosystem, and I've loved it every time I've had to take a call. The addition of Apple Arcade has made the experience even better. I simply don't know how else to praise this laptop. I remember back in school I used to laugh at Mac users when I saw the Apple logo come up, and because it was weird. Everyone had a Windows machine. Everything ran on Windows. Hardly anything ran on Macs. We only knew photographers who used Macs. But things have changed. And let's be honest, they changed for Apple the moment the iPhone was first announced. And because of that success, we have the MacBook Air M1. The Thunderbolt ports pack plenty of power. I'm slowly getting used to making sure my devices are USB-C only. Of course, there are legacy adapters which you can get. I always tend to get mine from Apple straight away. Yes, I know they're more expensive, but they do the job right. I find if you get certain other brands, they'll heat up, and sometimes they'll cause issues with your device. Last thing you want is a USB stick frying up on you. Saying that, if you have a dock or dock your MacBook, you should be able to expand that via USB-C. But then again, with docks, what I've seen is that they can tend to heat up. When it comes to the video quality of the MacBook Air M1, it is still far behind smartphones. It's ridiculous to think that a FaceTime call, a Zoom call, a meeting is far better quality on a mobile phone than it is on a MacBook. Now, don't get me wrong, this is the best version of the camera yet, but it's still got far to go in order to catch up to mobile phones. This device is such a brilliant feat of engineering, and I'm sure any user who purchases it will have it for many, many years to come. I keep thinking about portability. I don't feel confident when taking it about. From the cracking screen to having dents in the chassis, I just don't want my MacBook Air M1 to be in that kind of danger because, quite frankly, I don't want to pay to have it fixed. Some of you may have seen the video I recently put up about my purchase of a Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon 7th Gen, and how I really admire the portability, durability of it, and the fact it's so light. I'm sure the MacBook Air is durable. I know that it probably would survive an impact, but I would like Apple to test that out, or at least have that as a feature in the future. Even splash-proof would work for me. Let me know what you think in the comments, as usual. Like and subscribe, and until next time.